Something is brewing in Maranello that could shake the F1 world. Lewis Hamilton's new SF26 isn't just a car, it might be the scariest machine on the grid in 2026. Insiders hint at innovations that could change everything: power delivery, aerodynamics, and race strategy like we've never seen before. And later, you'll discover why this Ferrari could redefine what it means to compete at the very top of Formula One. Ferrari is preparing to unveil the SF26, and it's not just another car, it's a radical reimagining of what a Formula One machine can be. After a turbulent 2025 season, where Hamilton struggled and the SF25 consistently underperformed, the Scuderia decided to take a completely different approach. Every aspect of the SF26, from aerodynamics to suspension and engine layout, has been meticulously re-engineered under extreme secrecy. 2025 was a brutal year. Hamilton failed to reach the podium in several key races, and Leclerc had to compensate for inconsistencies in the car's performance. Engineers faced endless challenges with tire degradation, ride height instability, and aerodynamic inefficiency. The season left scars on both morale and confidence, highlighting that incremental improvements would not be enough to reclaim Ferrari's dominance. In April 2025, Ferrari made a decisive choice. They halted all development on the SF25 and poured all resources into Project 678, the internal codename for the SF26. This project wasn't just an evolution, it was a revolution. By dedicating nearly a full year to this car, Ferrari hoped to leapfrog rivals and redefine competitiveness under the new 2026 regulations. The timeline was unprecedented. Engineers finalized the SF26 chassis just a day before the public reveal on January 23, 2026. Every last component, from the steel alloy cylinder head to the pushrod suspension system, had to be completed and validated under extreme time pressure. The risk of mistakes was high, but the potential reward could be monumental. Hamilton played a unique role in development. His feedback influenced steering wheel ergonomics, energy deployment, and chassis balance, giving him input usually reserved for technical directors. Leclerc focused on predictability and stability, ensuring the car would remain consistent across varied track conditions. Together, they helped create a machine that reflects both raw performance and driver-centric design. The SF26 isn't only about speed, it's about control, precision, and psychological advantage. By keeping Spec B, the performance version, hidden until pre-season testing, Ferrari maintains uncertainty over the car's full capabilities. Competitors are forced to guess, creating an additional strategic advantage before the season even begins. The stakes couldn't be higher. Success could restore Hamilton to championship contention and secure Ferrari's position at the top of Formula One for years. Failure, however, could compound the disappointment of 2025, leaving Ferrari scrambling under the pressure of unrealized potential. Every design choice, every innovation, and every driver input is now under scrutiny, making the SF26 a car built for either glory or disaster. At the core of the SF26 is a power unit unlike anything we've seen in modern F1. Ferrari has replaced the traditional aluminum cylinder head with a steel alloy version. On paper, it's a subtle change, but insiders suggest it could dramatically improve thermal stability, rigidity, and combustion efficiency under extreme pressures. The hybrid system has been completely rebalanced. The internal combustion engine produces roughly 500 horsepower, while the MGUK generates nearly 4 times the power of previous units. Combined, this allows energy deployment strategies that could make the SF26 deceptively fast in both straights and corners, giving Hamilton and Leclerc an advantage their rivals might not anticipate. Suspension has also been overhauled. Ferrari returned to a double pushrod setup at both the front and rear, abandoning the pull rod design that caused inconsistent ride height in 2025. The system is fully passive, but behaves almost like an active suspension under changing aerodynamic loads, giving Ferrari a subtle performance edge without breaking FIA rules. Hamilton's feedback directly influenced this design. From steering ergonomics to energy deployment mapping, the SF26 reflects a car tailored to a driver's instincts, creating harmony between human and machine. Leclerc's input ensures the car remains stable under variable conditions, balancing Hamilton's aggressive tuning with predictability. Ferrari plans to run the SF26 in 2 specifications during pre-season. Spec A focuses on validation, testing the steel head, hybrid integration, and suspension under real track conditions. Spec B, the the full performance configuration, remains hidden until Bahrain, keeping rivals guessing and adding an extra psychological layer to the competition. These innovations suggest Ferrari may be exploiting a gray area in the 2026 regulations. Everything points to a car that could dominate, but only if it functions flawlessly under the extreme stresses of pre-season and race conditions. One misstep could expose weaknesses that no one outside Maranello yet realizes. And that's what makes the SF26 so dangerous. Outwardly, it may look like any other F1 car, but beneath the bodywork lies a machine designed to maximize every possible advantage, while keeping competitors, and perhaps even the FIA, uncertain of its true potential. The SF26 isn't just innovative, it's walking a fine line with the regulations. The steel cylinder head, combined with compact aerodynamics and the double pushrod suspension, falls within the rules, but it operates in a gray area. Sources indicate the FIA is quietly monitoring these elements, though publicly they remain neutral. Hamilton's input makes this car particularly intriguing. His guidance on steering ergonomics, chassis balance, and energy deployment means the SF26 is optimized around his driving style. But this also introduces risk. A misjudgment by the driver could compromise systems that engineers have spent months perfecting. The car's performance relies as much on Hamilton's skill as on its engineering. Timing adds to the tension. The chassis was finalized just a day before the official reveal, leaving minimal room for real-world testing. Engineers had to integrate the steel head, hybrid systems, and suspension with extraordinary precision, knowing any small oversight could create failures during early pre-season runs. The aerodynamic changes are subtle but critical. Narrower side pods, compact radiators, and refined airflow to the diffuser could save up to 0.25 seconds per lap, a small margin in isolation, but massive over race distance. Yet, because these configurations are unprecedented, nobody truly knows how the SF26 will perform when pushed to the limit. Strategic leaks play a role as well. Fragments of performance data have made their way to the paddock, whether intentionally or not, creating uncertainty among rivals. Teams may overreact or miscalculate, giving Ferrari an unseen advantage even before the car competes in earnest. Historical precedent in Formula One shows gray area technologies often provoke scrutiny mid-season. Mercedes' DS system in 2020 is a reminder. Something legal on paper can trigger interventions once it's fully deployed. Ferrari may be relying on this delay to exploit the SF26's potential early in the season. In the end, the SF26 is a high-stakes gamble. Flawless execution could redefine the championship and Ferrari's place in 2026, but any misstep, mechanical, aerodynamic, or strategic, could turn months of preparation into a disaster. Until the car hits the track at full speed, the full consequences remain unknown, keeping everyone on edge. The SF26 isn't just a technical marvel, it carries risks that few outside Ferrari fully grasp. Integrating the steel cylinder head, hybrid system, and double pushrod suspension creates complexity that could expose weaknesses under full-speed conditions. Even minor misalignments, thermal stresses, or energy deployment errors could destabilize the car at high speeds. The compressed development timeline amplifies these risks. Engineers finalized critical systems with minimal real-world testing, meaning any failure discovered during pre-season laps could require urgent fixes with barely enough time before the first races. The psychological pressure is equally significant. Ferrari's team is still recovering from the failures of 2025. Drivers and engineers alike are operating under intense scrutiny, where even a small mistake could have amplified consequences. Hamilton and Leclerc must push the car to its limits while remaining within the narrow window of reliability. Spec A, the validation car, focuses on reliability and baseline performance. Spec B, the true performance version, is hidden until Bahrain testing. While this preserves secrecy, it also compresses the window to identify potential failures, creating a high-stakes scenario where success depends on flawless execution. FIA oversight adds another layer of uncertainty. Gray area innovations may trigger mid-season clarifications or rulings, forcing Ferrari to adjust components or strategy on the fly. Any FIA intervention could drastically reduce the advantage the team worked so hard to engineer. Rival teams are already under pressure. Leaks and glimpses of the SF26 create uncertainty, forcing competitors to guess at Ferrari's capabilities. Some may misallocate resources, adopt overly aggressive strategies, or make development errors, giving Ferrari an unseen strategic edge before a single race has started. Ultimately, the SF26 represents a razor-thin balance between brilliance and danger. One mechanical, aerodynamic, or thermal failure could compromise reliability and race performance. Conversely, if everything works perfectly, Ferrari could start 2026 with a decisive advantage. Until the car is fully tested in pre-season conditions, the full consequences remain unknown, keeping both fans and rivals on edge. If the SF26 performs as Ferrari hopes, the competitive landscape of 2026 could be dramatically altered. Early indications suggest gains in both engine efficiency and aerodynamics that could place Ferrari ahead of Mercedes, Red Bull, and McLaren before the season even begins. Hamilton's involvement in the car's development is crucial. By shaping energy deployment, suspension behavior, and steering ergonomics, he may extract performance that rivals cannot anticipate. His experience and familiarity with the car could make him a decisive figure in the early championship battle. The two-spec strategy, Spec A for validation and Spec B for full performance, adds another layer of intrigue. Rivals will only see a portion of Ferrari's capabilities, creating uncertainty in pre-season testing and potentially influencing competitor development strategies. Teams may misallocate resources or take unnecessary risks to match Ferrari's hidden pace. FIA oversight is an unpredictable factor. Gray area innovations like the steel cylinder head and double pushrod suspension may provoke mid-season clarifications or rulings. Ferrari's gamble could either force rule reinterpretation or require urgent adjustments, affecting their advantage and possibly the entire championship. Psychological impact on rivals should not be underestimated. The combination of leaks, rumors, and subtle performance hints can sow doubt, stress engineering teams, and prompt early mistakes. Ferrari's secrecy serves as both a technical and strategic weapon, exerting influence before a single lap is officially completed. Yet the stakes are enormous. A single failure in the steel cylinder head, hybrid system, or suspension could undo months of preparation and compromise race results. Reliability, driver confidence, and overall performance all hang in the balance, highlighting the razor-thin line between triumph and disaster. The SF20SIX's success could set a precedent for other teams, influencing design philosophy across the grid and potentially redefining how innovation is approached under the 2026 regulations. The consequences of this radical car will unfold gradually, lap by lap, leaving the paddock and fans watching in suspense. Even as the SF26 hits the track, the story is far from over. The car's secrets, its steel cylinder head, hybrid innovations, and double pushrod suspension may only reveal their full impact under the stresses of real racing. Until then, fans and rivals alike are left guessing. Hamilton and Leclerc face extraordinary pressure. Every lap, every corner, every energy deployment decision will test the limits of the SF26, their skills, and the months of development invested by Ferrari. Mistakes could be costly. Perfection could redefine the championship from the very first race. The FIA is quietly watching. Gray area innovations, unprecedented engineering, and compressed development timelines create a scenario where a mid-season ruling could force Ferrari to adjust components or strategy, reshaping the advantage the team has meticulously engineered. Spec A and Spec B testing adds another layer of intrigue. While rivals see only a conservative version of the SF26, the true performance car remains hidden. Ferrari controls the narrative and the pacing of revelations, keeping competitors on edge and amplifying the psychological pressure across the grid. The risks are immense. One mechanical, thermal, or aerodynamic failure could compromise races and championship hopes. Yet if executed flawlessly, the SF26 could deliver a decisive advantage that reverberates across the 2026 season. Insiders also hint that the leaks and partial information we've seen may be only the beginning. Further undisclosed technologies or strategies could surface as the season progresses, revealing more of Ferrari's secret capabilities and reshaping how teams interpret the 2026 regulations. Ultimately, the SF26 embodies Ferrari's boldest gamble in decades. Success could restore Hamilton to championship glory and redefine Formula One performance standards. Failure could leave the team scrambling and redefine what it means to take risks at the top level of motorsport. Until the car proves itself on the track, the paddock, fans, and rivals remain in suspense, waiting to see whether Ferrari's gamble will pay off or if 2026 will become a cautionary tale of ambition pushed too far.